Leo, this reading is for you around love and relationships. So you are worried, you have a lot on your mind with regards to this relationship like this person here. It's all for me so far. We'll clear up these cards, we'll look at them together, but 2 pages in reverse, Page of Swords and Page of Coins or Page of Pentacles in reverse. This is all to do with communication. And there's a real inability for somebody to face facts here. There's been some news that's come your way. It's thrown the plan off the track. Whatever you've been communicating about or like working towards together, there has been a serious like, you're not understanding what I'm trying to say, I'm not understanding you. But before the problem got too bad, it has been like, there's been a slight resurrection of it. So this miscommunication and the 8 of Wands is all about like fast paced. Look, we have a letter here, we have like some dueling here, so it's this back and forth really fast. So it could have been an argument, or it could have just been some tense words spoken. Before anything got too bad, you reined it in, Leo. You said, okay, I'm not going to say that. There's still a chance for us to salvage this happiness. 8 of Cups in reverse. Upright, this person is walking away with the backpack on. In the reverse, they're coming back around. So there might have been this like, okay, are we going to work? Are we not going to work? Are we staying together? Are we not? Ultimately, you're giving this chance. You're giving this another chance. So you're having a second go round in the 8 of Cups. The person that you're dealing with wants this too. It's more so actually coming from them that they're like, no, we can do this again. But it's the communication for you guys right now seems to be the problem. Seems to be why you've got so many worries on your mind. Now, you don't have to be dealing with a Libra or an air sign like that, or a Scorpio or a water sign like that, but they are some people that are coming through for me here. I don't know, you hold this relationship in very high esteem. Like, this is something to you that's very deep, very loving, very transformative, and you've recently broken through to the truth of the matter that you needed to see in this relationship. A decision had to have been made pretty recently about how you guys are going to maybe talk to each other in future. What's the mode going to be like? Are you going to be talking in person more? Is it going to be like phone calling? Some of you, there might be like some physical distance between you guys at the moment. I'm looking forward to clearing these cards up and getting really deep on these. But basically, you're aware, Leo, that there was a situation that could have unfolded in a really murky and unclear, scary kind of way in the Moon card. You caught it just in time, because if that had been allowed to sort of grow legs on it, God knows where that would have ended up for you two. We're gonna have to look at these cards. Fundamentally, it's a complete breakdown of communication. That's not something that is going to be too hard to resolve, I hope. So why don't we look at these cards together and pull more to clarify? Let's look at your cards together, Leo. So really the issue at hand is you are feeling very overwhelmed presently, 9 of Swords, and it's probably because of the person you're dealing with, or the person you have to be in this relationship doesn't really, they're not really acting in character right now. Okay, so you're aware of perhaps them acting like a different person, or you have to act like a different person. There's like an imposter syndrome here with the Page of Swords and 9 of Swords here. Like, you're very worried about not being your authentic self, like communicating in your authentic way. I think basically all of this back and forth has probably left you very overwhelmed. The fights have been mounting and the unpleasant conversations have been taking place. You really need this 4 of Swords respite from it. Like, look, you need to just, it's like, put a fork in me, I'm done. I need to relax from this, and you need to take a step back in order to breathe and see the situation clearly, because of right now, all I'm feeling from this reading is overwhelm on your behalf. Okay. Because you're aware of this deep and transformative love that exists here, it doesn't have to be with a water sign, but it is something that has transformed you. And you are, for that reason, and for the person you're dealing with reason, is willing to give this another chance. 8 of Cups, go back and revisit the issues that didn't get solved the first time, and now we're going to look at them again. All right. So In the past, you had come to terms with the truth of a situation, really cut through the bullshit there and seen things for what they were. There was the indication for you, Moon in reverse, that there was something deceptive going on. However, before this was able to play out fully and you caught it, Queen of Swords was like, no, this isn't happening. I see where you're going with this. I see what you're trying to do, and that would be a disaster. So I'm going to stop you right there and just tell you no. The Moon card in reverse is when there has been a deception of a certain extent, a certain type of deception, but through our own, like, basically smarts, intuition, wit, savvy, and just like having seen this crap before, having been through this before, possibly with another person, you were kind of able to say, no, we're going to stop that from growing legs and all of that. Okay, so it seems like there was a decision that was made recently around this relationship. A decision maybe like that you were making alone, Leo, that was going to affect the relationship, but it's coming as whatever this decision that's been made, it seems to like be falling on deaf ears with the person you're dealing with, or they're just not understanding why you would do this. They're just not really getting it. And I do have this kind of sense of both pages are both of our communicators in the reading, both in reverse, like there's a real lack of like them being even prepared to listen to what you have to say, or like to face up to the facts that you're going to present them with. Right. So let's clear up these cards one by one and just pull one more message. We'll keep this to a quick love reading, around 15 minutes. Let's pull one card here to clear up for Leo, the Nine of Swords. You are overwhelmed. Your head is, you've got 9 swords stacked on top of you to worry about, each one representing some sort of a worry or an anguish of yours, or a what if. And here we've got the 8 of Swords. So yes, like 8 comes before 9, of course. So we can often let the worries of the 8 of Swords like tie us down in the nine of Swords even further to like being incapacitated almost to make decisions or move or act. It's like that overwhelming anxiety that can come up in the mood of the 9 of Swords. So yeah, this has been something, I guess, that you have been keeping very quiet, Leo. You haven't been expressing to people this desire to like even communicate that you're having problems in this relationship, or like that it's maybe even something that you feel quite restricted by. Maybe you feel in a way trapped or bound by an area of this relationship, and that has not been something that you've been easily able to even communicate to maybe the person you're dealing with, but certainly not to like say a parent of yours or anybody like a loved one in your life that you think that, you know, usually you could turn to when you're dealing with these issues. Well, what's making you feel so trapped and so stuck and full of worry around this relationship? It's got to be this complete lack of clear communication that's happening. Let me pull another card for you now, and we'll clear up. Let's look into what kind of these conversations, what have they been like what has been the tone of these conversations. Okay, so here we've got the, this is the 9 of Cups. So the conversations have been pretty fast, pretty random, and you're talking about the direction in which this relationship is going. 9 of Wands in reverse. Are we Knight of Wands in reverse, I should say. Are we changing direction suddenly? You say to your person, like, why haven't you been keeping me up to speed with this? How has this is happening very suddenly for me. So how long have you been thinking about that? Kind of like questions like that could be coming up. But basically the conversations have been about emotional fulfillment. Are we happy? Look at these people. It's like there's kind of like 2 sad faces here on the side. They even look like masks to be worn to me in this, and like on the surface maybe you are wearing a different mask, or you are kind of like talking to your person in these talks like right now, like is this actually really satisfying us? Like, are we happy together? Those kind of things might be coming up for you around, and that's why these conversations feel like, for some of you, you're like, well, if you're not happy with me, that's too much for me to handle in terms of like worrying about that and like not being sure about it. I would rather you just tell me, because now I feel like it's more of a trap. Like, you know, this person might be saying to you things like, oh no, I want to make this work, but then there's something coming up for you that you're like, well, you're not showing me that, and our communication is way off. So let's have a look at the love itself, the relationship itself. This might be Who is this? If it's not a water sign you're dealing with, we'll put it as this might be the water sign you're dealing with, but for others, this is just the person in like overall and what they mean for the relationship or where they stand in the relationship. Clearing up the King of Cups. And here we have the Sun in reverse, which is your Leo energy in reverse. So it might be the fact that like this is quite a darker like color visually. Like this person or you, one of you guys might be like deep in your feelings right now and struggling to overcome some emotional issues. And that's sort of the Sun card is a really happy sign, a happy card, but when it's reversed, there is some sort of a block on that happiness right now. So perhaps it is like dealing with. Some of you are dealing with pretty serious issues though. Like for some, I'm actually sensing that there was a loss in, some of you are dealing with like even fertility issues that you're battling together as a couple, or some sort of a like custody or separation even from children that could be really difficult that you're going through at this time. That's just going to be a message for some that's coming through. But overall, there is like an overriding reason for your happiness to be blocked, and you can't understand why, because the love is there. In a way, the commitment is there too. Nobody's saying that they're not committed, but they are expressing to you, Leo, like that they may not be fully happy in this relationship. Now, while they're not saying like that they're backing away commitment wise, they might just be saying to you, or you might be starting to feel like, yeah, but where's the laughter? Where's the sun? Where's the fun happening? Maybe things have been really tough emotionally and much bigger circumstances are at play, like the ones I suggested to regarding children, fertility, even like the awareness of a miscarriage that could have been coming up. And of course, that's going to be very difficult to move through. But for others, it just feels like the fun is gone from this relationship or the happiness. So let's look at the Queen of Swords. I feel like for a while you've been aware of boundaries that you may need to put in place here, especially if you're dealing with an air sign, like a Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, but it doesn't have to be. We've got the High Priestess in reverse here. Yeah, like together these energies are not cold or anything, but they're definitely not letting the feelings that they have for the person they're dealing with in this energy like override what's true, override what basically their intuition is telling them. But there has been some sort of a block in your intuition, High Priestess in reverse. Your guides are kind of trying to allow you to see something in a clearer way and perhaps put a boundary there that could have been put there before, but you are still blocking it. You're still kind of not trusting in your own judgment around this. And for quite some time now, that might have been the case. And you might have actually done this before in other relationships or other dynamics in your life. Doesn't have to be relationship, a romantic sort. It could be a friendship, somebody in work, but where you didn't trust your intuition before and you maybe should have put a boundary up against that person or a behavior of theirs at least. But I saw you, this is the High Priestess in reverse with the moon in reverse, like very lunar energy here. We have the moon symbol here, and of course the moon is very lunar. Well, La Luna, obviously. But this is like, you knew that something deceptive was going on, and before it could manifest into something that was really disastrous or painful or shocking, you nipped it in the bud. So that would be like your intuition speaking to you, but you still are not fully trusting in that. Like you're still giving a lot of benefit of the doubt here, Leo. So let's have a look at the nature of the decision that was made recently around this relationship. It might have been to decide, let's do Eight of Cups in reverse. Let's give this another go. Come on back around. Let's have a look right now at the decision. The Six of Pentacles in reverse. So a lot of reversals in this reading. What I'm thinking with the Six of Pentacles in reverse is just some sort of an unfairness that, you know, you wanted to rewrite, like, or maybe you had to give something another go so that you could say to yourself, okay, now I've exhausted all my options. Like I've tried everything I can. I'm on my hands and knees here. Like this is the last I've got. Like this is the last bit of, and the Six of Pentacles is an energy exchange. as it's upright, energy is quite moving quite freely and fairly and into like proportionately. Reversed, it's like there's been too much of an energy drain here, and actually it seems to be circulated towards a dead end for a lot of you. And like the decision that you've made for some is like, I'm giving this one last shot. This is the last I have in me for this. I have nothing else to give. This is kind of like, you know, one last chance is what some of you are saying. So let's look at the Page of Swords. I get the energy here that a conversation is about to take place, another one, Leo, where you don't feel like that person is being fully transparent, or you're not being fully transparent. There is this energy of like playing a role in the Page of Swords reverse, not like an imposter or imposter syndrome, but kind of like it's not really the full truth. Like there's something about this role in this conversation that you guys are playing that isn't actually what's aligning with you guys, and that's why there is a communication breakdown, because you're probably not being honest with yourselves right now. Ace of Pentacles. So the conversation that's going to come up for you pretty soon is actually in fact going to look like, are we going to move on from this? We want to move on, we want to progress. You know, at least one of you wants to step this forward and like make something of it still, and definitely you think the opportunity is there for this to happen in the Ace of Pentacles. So that's what that conversation I think is going to look like. It doesn't look like it's going to be super deceptive or tense, but it looks like at least this conversation is going to go like, look, there are still options for us. I think we can move on, and I think we can push this forward and start a new chapter in our life or begin a new path. However, you really need to discern in this. This has to be uprighted for you to enter this conversation. Like, is what they're saying? They may say they want those things, but is that what's actually going to happen? As we know, actions are a lot more difficult to see through than the words, right? Okay, so you have been asked, the guides in this reading are advising to adopt Four of Swords, and you need to take a bit of time to consider what comes up through this conversation before just saying, yeah, sure, let's do that. I'll go along with this. Oh, you said you've changed and that's what you want. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. Let's take a little time, and during this time thinking, what may come up for you, Leo? We've got, the Ten of Swords, interesting, and the Strength card at the bottom of the deck. This is Leo energy. Here's your symbol. Here's your, this is often depicted with the lion, so your symbol. But really, this is about inner strength, and Ten of Swords this is like a very final scene. What have we got going on here? Oh wow, we've got actually an assassination here of some sort. So you actually might, for some of you during this time of reflection, you may actually come to terms with the fact that this might be coming to a breakthrough or some sort of a breakdown that can't really go any further. You'll have come to terms in this quiet reflection period that there is something that can't go any further. Maybe it's the relationship itself, but also that it's just that like we can't go any further, like kind of flogging a dead horse and hoping that something will change if we're actually not going to fundamentally change anything. You become very aware during this period. There's what I'm seeing timeline wise as a conversation that's about to take place where they offer you a solution or an option to move things forward, and you in turn have an energetic desire, or you feel intuitively that you need to think on this. During that time you may come to terms with your own strength and say, I can actually, even if this ends, Ten of Swords, I'll be fine. Like you're like, yes, that would suck, that would be painful, I would miss them, but ultimately you're like, but I'd be fine, I'm strong enough. Okay, let's look at where they're at. They're definitely, well, let's not say definitely, but from what I can see so far before clearing up, that they're well up for another chance or giving this another go and like not abandoning it again. And like until it works out, they want to stick with it. Pretty dedicated. Eight of Cups in reverse. The Lovers, absolutely. They see you as a soulmate. They see you as somebody that they do not want to let go of, that can be transformed. We have the butterfly imagery here and these little flies in the card of the Eight of Cups here on the sides. It's like they know that this can still be transformed into something more strong and beautiful. But if you'll notice, there is, like, this is okay. There's something being hidden here underneath the butterfly. You know, that might be just to keep this deck PC, or PG rather. But I don't think so, because we have it all hanging out here on the Sun card. But for some reason they're wanting to cover it up here in the Lovers card. Has there been something that they're not showing? Is there a side of them that they aren't being transparent about? Think about when you guys are like intimate together, like maybe you're like undressed. Are they shy around you? I don't know. Some of these things are coming up like wanting to cover up or wanting not to reveal all of themselves to you, and certainly not feeling like they can reveal their most intimate parts of themselves. Now that doesn't have to be physically a body part, but like just like as a metaphor, they don't really want to be vulnerable fully. Like when we're exposed like that, we're vulnerable. So there's something about that, like although they see you as a soulmate, they're not able to show their full side of themselves to you. That might be frustrating for you, and that might be why you get the sense of like some sort of a possible deception in the Moon card reverse. Let's look at that. So you were afraid of something happening, and you kind of caught wind of something potentially, and you were able to avoid it. But what was that about? And are we needing to see, do we need to keep an eye on that going forward, or has that been resolved basically? The Nine of Wands. It seems like that might be something you'll have to keep an eye on until it fully, you know, this is Libra coming through again here, potentially with a Libra. But no, it sort of seems like to me like you would have to keep an eye on this situation, see how it unfolds. There is a little bit of paranoia around you because of what they've done or what potentially could have happened. I feel like it was more a conversation that took place, or you heard something by way of contact, communication, that gave you insight that, hey, this could turn into something a lot bigger, a lot more nefarious, and I want to put a stop to that. But there isn't a kind of a sense in this reading like you have to keep your guard up around this person, or you still have to feel like I don't know, paranoid, or they make you feel paranoid, suspicious, and like you certainly don't want to feel that. So let's see. After all is said and done and these conversations take place and you're given some space to think about things, what way are you going to be coming back to them with your counter offer in the Page of Coins? It doesn't really align with what they've said. You might have a counter offer. You might say, okay, back to the drawing board. We need to work this out and see how this is going to go for us. Let's see, Page of Coins in reverse. Yeah, the Five of Cups. I get the sense that for some of you watching this reading today, you may be coming to this person and telling them like, look, I've spilled these cups here. I don't think you're going to be very happy with what I have to say. There's still 2 cups here. Don't worry. Like, we can still be friends. We can still stay in touch, but overall, some of you are going to be disappointing the person that you're dealing with the information that you're going to share with them, I think. Or more information has come up to kind of give you some food for thought as to what you need to do basically, and they may not be what that person wants to hear. Again, these are just going to be general messages, Leo. Take what resonates today and leave the rest. Thanks for watching.